Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Chow, and in today's episode, I'm going to talk about the basically how far ahead, seriously, how significant Arctic animation was, and all the things that have been doing in terms of fan subs and that kind of stuff. And just sort of give a comparison of where we were and how far ahead we were in this thing. Just basically, answer that question. How did you really get that name as the Godfather of anime? And just sort of give you the perspective of where things were. Okay. So before I begin, I'm going to want to remind everyone to go down below, click like and click subscribe, and if you want to throw in a comment about fan subbing and how your influences and that kind of stuff came in from fan subbing. If you've experienced it in your in your past, that again helps the YouTube algorithm recommend my videos because that's. Because YouTube never recommends my videos, and so you can do that. If you like to support me financially, I do also have the super thanks button, as well as I do have the links for Patreon and PayPal below, where I make a lot of extra episodes for the subscribers and that kind of stuff. There's a whole bunch of content, at least 15 episodes of content available now on that platform, which basically covers topics and does things that I can't do here on YouTube, just because of all the rules and regulations that are on YouTube. So I got them all separately. Again, you can see all that content and whatnot in a Excel spreadsheet. Link is down below. You can just see what all my various different episodes I do have, as well as some of the episodes I do also have on the subscriber page, right? So you can see what the preview of what's coming up, kind of like a TV guide, if you will. Okay. So yeah, again, do look down below for those links. All right. But in today's episode, we're going into talk about the significance and the basically where Arctic animation and everything related to the fan community. Okay. So just sort of put things in perspective of sort of what the timeline was in here. Again, we started in an era of obviously Japanese animation where a lot of the stuff in the 80s, in the 80s and even the late 80s, didn't have subtitles and didn't have dubs, right? It's just very few U.S. companies were doing anything commercially. So basically, a lot of the stuff that was coming over from Japan, especially during the big initial rush, right? So right after 85, 86, the number of OVAs really jumped. And again, if you want to take a look at exactly how they jumped, you should check out my episodes where I cover the My Anime list for the years 1985, 86, 87, 88, and 89. You will quickly see that there is a really big increase in the number of episodes, OVAs, and TV shows and movies that came out at that time, right? So, a lot of us at this time still had to basically watch those things in straight Japanese. No, no subtitles, no dub. Full of commercials sometimes. Or again, straight in Japanese. It was only just when I started doing fan subbing in '89 that this thing of this concept of being able to understand some of this Japanese animation stuff really occurred. Okay, so then once we started showing people and whatnot that hey, it is possible to get these Japanese animations with some translation, with some subtitles using this fan subtitling technique, and so we figured a lot of other people would have tried to get into the learn how it's done, maybe try to do it themselves. So, like a lot of things that happen on the market at this particular time, a lot of other clubs and people and that kind of stuff think, well, if you're able to then apply subtitles and do translations to Japanese animation, maybe we should try to get into that and be able to get into doing our own translations and that kind of stuff, maybe some different ones or whatever for different sort of animes and to get into that. But you quickly find out that even with those the peaked interest and that kind of stuff, the overcoming some of the huge hurdles like the initial investment and cost and that kind of stuff, you'll find that the gap is disparingly large, and I've got a document here today, which will go over that. Okay, so as I did an episode earlier on about the animerec.arts.anime, the internet was still very, very young at this age. Okay, so we're talking about the early '90s. Okay, so basically an environment before Windows 95. Okay, so a lot of us on PCs still have not got a Windows interface. So obviously, the people who have been operating on Macs already do. But we're still experimenting with this thing called the internet. It's nothing like what you obviously have today. There's no the existence of things like Google don't exist. Even the things like GeoCity pages and whatnot still doesn't really exist. Most of the communication is done off of the use group news feeds and that kind of stuff. A lot of people are still working on dial-up, so very, very slow modem speeds and that kind of stuff at this particular time. So internet is very, very shall we say, very, very in its infancy stage. Okay. But I did manage to find, in addition to the episodes I've done on the Stephen Pearl's shall I say FAQs, anime FAQs at this particular time, I ran across another document which I forgot about, which was a anime fan sub compilation or list. Okay, now this particular list was which is done and compiled by a J. Harvey out of the Akron, Ohio, from the Akron Anime Club. Okay, he initially started this, and he compiled all the list of all these different fan subbers and that kind of stuff that was available at this particular time, and provided their information and that kind of stuff and what they were doing. Provided updates for different animations that they were working on, and basically, made it so that, it was kind of a one sort of shop place to look for different fan subs and that kind of stuff that was available. And then if you were interested, you can contact each of the various different fan subbing groups to ask for whatever it is. Okay, and so I'm going to go through this document and just give you an idea and talk about the scale and the size and put things into perspective about this particular list, and then you can just see how and then you come up to with your own conclusion of how I got the moniker of the Godfather of anime. All right, so without further delay, let's have a look at this fan subbing list that Jay's put together and see what it tells us. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, the next group is called Clearer Visions, and they have listed on their thing Irresponsible Captain Tyler, Volume 1. So the first volume, the first 4 episodes of Captain Tyler. And then under these future projects, they've got Captain Tyler 2 through 4. So up to episode 16. Now, we've already done all of Captain Tyler off of the TV copies. And we were in the process of going through and redoing them all into Laserdisc versions. And I guess, again, it becomes easier because we've already done the translation, we've already done the timing, so it's just a matter of tweaking it a little bit to actually reconvert it, make a newer, fresher copy. Okay, so miles ahead of these guys, and they have also done they're planning to do Kishin Haiden, which is really peculiar because at this time Kishin Haiden is just being released in Japanese. Okay. And the U.S. release version comes out in November of 1994. So this is May 1994. So I do believe this is roughly about the time where the last volume of Kishin Core comes out. So volume 4. And, what do you got? May, June, July, August, September, October, November. So like 7 months. Okay. Volume 1 already comes out in English over here on VHS. So it's like, what is exactly the purpose of doing Kishin Core, when literally nobody will see it, right? Nobody will go get your copy of it because of the fact that they'll already have a commercial release of it available mass market thing. So again, this is an example of shelf life, okay? You try to pick titles, which of course not only do you like and all that kind of stuff, but you want it to have a somewhat a purpose, a shelf life that actually is meaningful, because if you make something that's as popular as, let's say, Kishinkor, the commercial company Pioneer immediately releases it, pretty quick. And therefore, all the work that you just did, well, geez, you could have just waited, and the guys at Pioneer will get professional subtitling guys and professional translators and that kind of stuff, and they'll do it for you. So why waste your time, right? So this is just kind of this is kind of a good example of what I mean when I say shelf life of a fan sub. Okay, so again, if you're keeping score, that's 4 episodes. So next group is the Conan project. Now, of course, they seem to have started, I guess, something, and then they decided not to, or they've unable to take requests and that kind of stuff. Now, so you're thinking Conan as in like Detective Conan. Well, unfortunately, Detective Conan didn't come out until January of '96, and this is '95. So at this time, Conan hasn't come out yet. So this isn't going to be confused to be the Detective Conan translation project. This is more, I'm going to guess, Future Boy Conan or something. But again, I guess they never really got to it because it really never, I guess they never really came back after closing. So, so there's another indication of just how hard it is and how hard it is to keep people together to do translations and subtitling and whatnot. Next group is Nexus Studios. Now, again, we actually worked pretty closely with Nexus Studios, and we traded a lot of material, translations, and that kind of stuff. So it was really really good for that. So what have we got here? So first of all, they only distribute to registered clubs and members. So they, obviously you have to be part of a club or be a club or part of their club, right? Which again, adds to that notion that these people look like they're supposed to be there. Well, yeah, they're supposed to be there because they paid their club memberships, right? As an allusion to that, what anime conventions look from like the 80s. Okay, so what do they got there? They got Nuku Nuku 1 to 3, Greenwood 1 to 6, Gundam 083 1 to 13, Gundam 0080 1 to 6, Guitar's Counterattack, and they got Touch, the movie 1, 2, and 3, which is actually surprising because that was one of those type of things that I don't think anybody really liked, but they did it, so that's great. And the last one there, I Can Hear the Sea. So not, basically not stuff that that really hasn't floated around. I think we did send them discs of the time files and that kind of stuff for these particular movies, so that they're able to get by without actually really needing translation. They just needed to run the things through their system to retime them back out. So that was pretty good. And then further down, they have the stuff that they're sort of working on. So they're working on an Maison Akaku compilation, which includes episode 96, the very last episode of Maison Akaku. That's the one that we did with a Ranma project. The movie, and then the movies at the special, and they're going to try to rearrange them so they're in order. Because if you remember, the movie's like sort of the final, and then the OVA kind of thing, the Yagami episode kind of goes in the middle, and then the last episode of the TV series kind of has to be rearranged a little bit to fit in there as well. So, so I guess that's what they're trying to do with that one. Ghost Sweeper Mikami, and there's some, they're working on the scripts of that. Obviously, they're working on some random episodes of Seander. They are planning to redo Record Lotus Wars 1 to 13. Again, scripts are pretty readily available at that time. They're working on some translations for Zeta Gundam. That's always really popular. Again, I think that time, a lot of people were sort of waiting for that. Even I was sort of really hoping that that was going to get done, because I said like my focus was not on Zeta; it was going to be on Double Zeta. And Please Save Earth, okay. And then they also the possibility of doing Kakariko Nuka Nuka number 4. They're, I guess they didn't particularly like how that episode turned out, so they wondered about that. This the Tenchi Muyo, the music special. So again, that's like a one of those music videos, just like Dan Cougar's songs, Jusengtai songs, Zillion, the Last Concert, things like that. Mospita, Love and Alive, and things like that. Yeah, okay, probably not. And then they're thinking about doing the Mahoshi special, which is probably good that they didn't bother doing it, because again, Pioneer probably ended up releasing it fairly quickly. So, because I'm thinking, just put the Kishin Head in, for example. They pumped out a lot of their titles like really shortly after them. So I remember, Kishinkor, Hakenden, Phantom Quest Core, things like that came out like bang, 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 and then Moldiver, and then Tenchi was like right next to them, right? So, and LSR too, right? So all that kind of just went bang, bang, bang. So they probably worked out really well if they didn't bother releasing that. And they're also releasing some Gotcha Man as well. So it's not, there's a good variety of titles for sure. So under the discontinued list, they have obviously this the Tenchi Muyo plus the Tenchi Muyo special. That's what makes me wonder why would you bother working on the Hoshi special if you already knew that all the Tenchis are already discontinued. So it's kind of again short shelf life. They discontinued their Ranma episodes that they worked on. Obviously, Ranma is coming out. They removed Goddess because Amiego already released it, and Silent Mobius is also taken off the list because, that's being licensed already. So there's, those are different titles that they worked on. So the final score would be 28 OVAs and 5 movies. So, pretty respectable for that time. Okay, the next group is SB2, as in SB2 from the Patlabor TV series, right? So this is the reference to the, I guess, a ragtag group of guys doing subtitles. Anyway, so they got things listed by tape number. So the first tape has got the standard of the movie, and it's some episodes of standard. So you got the Bay City Wars, and tape 3 has 3x3 Eyes, episode 1 through 4. Now this is kind of a strange one because I know at this time Orion, which is Streamline, had an English dub version of 3x3 Eyes 1 before. And then Pioneer ended up releasing another version in 95, which actually has a subtitle. So this is, again, another one of these short shelf life animes. So kind of pointless subtitling it, but I guess, whatever. I guess it's something to do. Prati in the movie, plus the first episode of Enemy's Pirates. 5 has the first Tenchi Muyo OVA, which again is coming out next year. And Mandra of OVA 1, which is good. Blue Sonnet, OVA number 1. Tape 6 has Tekman Blade, episodes 1 and 2. Detonator Organ, which was actually a pretty popular title, actually, at that time, too. We did the subtitles for that one as well. Giant Gorg, episode 1. Tape 7 was Nadia, episodes 1 through 4, and they made an extra drama. And that was, again, another interesting choice, because, again, this is another one of those. It was a streamlined picture in an English dub version, and then they decided, okay, hey, we don't like the dub version, we're going to make it an English subtitle version. So, the original Orion versions were already out, and it wasn't until the year 2000 before AD Vision decided to release a subtitled copy of that particular Nadia. So, I guess that you could say that has like a 4-year shelf, 5-year shelf life, should I say, for the Nadia once you get it complete. But again, looking at the speed how they do it, it'll probably take them a little while, next couple of years to actually complete it, and then then a couple more years after that, then an English subtitle version comes out on DVD from AD Vision. They got the Pocoroso movie with the second part of Enemy's Pirates. They have Patlabor the movie, some more miscellaneous episodes of Sea Hunter, Nadia, the last couple episodes plus a Nadia drama. Then we also have some more episodes of Nadia, plus some more Nadia drama. They've to be completed soon. They got High Speed JC, which I don't think they ever got done because no one ever released that one. Rujin Z, Like a Cloud, more Naughty episodes, more standard episodes. Mandra in the works. Bobby Stock. Well, that would be neat if someone had actually finished that one, but they never did. Space Cobra episodes 1 through 2. So in the works section, they have Bobby Stock, which is the motorbike one. And that'd be great if they actually finished that one, because that was one I was probably somewhat interested in. First 2 episodes of Space Cobra, especially 2 episodes of SPT Laser. I guess they never finished that one because I had to finish that one and get that one pressed out. Enemy's Pirates 3 and 4 to finish the rest of the series. They decided, hey, maybe we'll start V Gundam, which is one of those series that I didn't really want to get into, since it's good that someone else decided to. And Zeta Gundam 1 through 2. Again, I guess they're working in conjunction at the same time with Nexus Studios to see if they can get the Zeta Gundam episodes out as well. Again, my interest was not in Zeta, it was in Double Zeta. And so that was the one that I completed. And I think I like G Gundam more than I like V Gundam. And finally, if you're keeping track of the score, that would be 27 TV episodes, 8 OVAs, and 3 movies. So you can see that, we're going through this list. A lot of fan subbing groups, even there's a couple of them, they don't have a lot of material the same as we do. I mean, we're in the 400 of episodes slash movies and OVAs, where a lot of these people have are in the not even past 50, right? So the vast difference of the amount of content that's available through Arctic Animation was just so vast. And this is actually even 5 years already into the idea or the concept that anime was all like anime could be subtitled. I mean, we've shown this and and it's just taken even this extra 4 years of time between 91 to 94. Well, I guess 3 years from 91 to 94 here, that people had managed to get onto the fan subbing idea and get working on stuff. And even then, things like Nexus Studios and SV2, most of the titles and translations are things that have already been, like the files have been kind of floating around already. Not a lot of new concepts, TV shows and that kind of stuff has been done. I mean, sure, they're trying to work on it. I think translators and working with things like that is a bit of an issue. Again, a lot of people are still getting interested in trying to find the right people that are really avid anime fans are still kind of a little bit hard because anime is still a really new thing and it really hasn't really caught on. Big companies like I said Pioneer are entering the market this year, 95. So that's going to really push the envelope of a lot of new anime out there, and then that allows people to come back in and grab all the other new things. Also, I think the fact that with the release of all the Magical Girl shows, as you see, like I said, we've got things like Sailor Moon, Miracle Girls, Hime-chan's Ribbon. We're right now working on Red Red Cha Cha. We're right now bringing in the whole second half of the population. Bringing in all the female audiences and that kind of stuff. And again, those will be sources of translations, and maybe some people they'll do fan subbing and that kind of stuff. Again, one primary example that comes right to mind is His and Her Circumstances and things like that, and Utena, and shows that are more shoujo will start getting translated, and Marmalade Boy is another one that comes to mind. Those will be key titles that will be translated by that segment of the market or aimed at that segment of the market in the next couple of years between now and the year 2000s. But still, again, you can see why, just this vast difference and this vast wave of what we're pioneering and what we're trying to do has really, it's just arms and shoulders higher and much more advanced than what is out there, even after 3 years of change. And that's just what I wanted to point out in this particular list. So thank you, Jay Harvey, for maintaining this list. All right, so I hope you enjoyed that. That was a good sort of look into the past, and now that things have fast forward almost 25 years, you can see just how much significance and how much difference and how much the gap was that occurred during those days, and that's basically how I gained my moniker, right? It's just a known sort of nickname that I got, and I guess those kind of nicknames when it's given on YouTube by somebody else tends to be more descriptive and definitely more representative of one that you make up yourself. All right. So again, I'll try to get into more episodes. We're going into older documents and things that are on the net, as well as more fan letters coming up. Okay, so definitely do keep track of that. And then I'm say I got 2 more years left to go on the top 30 showdown for the 1980s, and I'm looking forward to getting to that because I said that is going to get really tough, as there's a lot more OVAs and TVs series that came out in the late 80s, right? So it'll be it's gonna require a lot of shuffling around of the things that are already in the top 30 as I've made them so far. So again, stay tuned for those. All right. So until next time, I will see you again.